Sean.
Sarah, the president announced at the meeting a little while ago punitive tariffs on steel and aluminum imports that would take effect next week. 10% for aluminum, 25% for steel. He announced them even though the fine details have not been worked out yet about what countries will be involved, whether there are any exemptions. The Dow's down about 500 points as a result of this. Some of our allies, including Canada, are saying that these actions are unacceptable. Why did the president announce them now, particularly before the details have even been worked out?
The president's announcing his intent to sign those actions next week. We're not going to get into any more details until those details are finalized, but that is what he intends to do next week, and he was making that announcement.
Is he concerned about the results or the effects that his announcement has had so far?
The president's concerned about the men and women of this country who have been forgotten about, the industries that our country was founded and built on, and this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. This is something, frankly, the president's been talking about for decades, certainly something he talked about regularly on the campaign trail, and something that he's delivering on, making that clear today, and those details and that actual announcement and signing will take place sometime next week. Margaret.
Sarah, the president often talks about stock market reaction to his presidency. Is he surprised to see the market down after making this announcement without explanation on tariffs? Do you have any detail on why he decided to announce it today? As John was asking you, it seemed kind of sudden when we were called in for that event. It wasn't something on our necessarily public schedule.
This is something, again, that the president has been talking about for a long time. It's not a surprise, and we're going to continue doing what we can to protect American workers. That was something that the president committed to during the campaign. This is something that he feels is vitally important. Yeah, that part is new, and he's announcing his intent to make those things happen next week, and we'll have more details on that.
Did he make that decision today?
Again, this is something the president's wanted to do for quite some time.
I would have been surprised to, the press gathered there.
Well,
It wasn't on schedule.
I don't think that the president always tells you guys everything first, but it's certainly something he's been talking about for a long time.
Some at the White House because there were these competing events.
These are conversations that the president has been having for a long time. He's made his intentions very clear to the team at the White House, and I don't think it came as a surprise to anybody here.
Can you say if 10 and 25 are set, or could that change between now and next week?
I think that's the intent, but until those details are finalized, I'm not going to get into any more specifics right now. So,
Hey, Sarah, a couple questions for you. First, a number of members of the President's cabinet have fallen under public scrutiny in some cases, inspectors general for spending, whether it be first-class travel or in the case of Ben Carson, a $31,000 dining set. The president talked about in the campaign that he's going to drain the swamp. So does he plan on draining some of his cabinet?
I don't, in terms of if you're asking if he's getting rid of anyone on the cabinet, I'm not aware that that's taking place at any point right now. To be clear, on Secretary Carson, the order that you referenced was canceled, and they're looking for another option that's much more responsible with taxpayer dollars.
You said a number of times that when the president loses confidence in a member of the cabinet, he tells us, so that means we haven't heard that, so he has confidence in these people. So can you explain why the president has confidence in some of these members of his cabinet, like Carson, Shulkin, Pruitt, and Zinke, who there are numerous investigations into some of their conduct and spending. So why do they have the president's confidence?
Look, starting with the VA, with Secretary Shulkin, the president is glad for the job that he's been doing in reforming the VA and modernizing the VA, a lot of the movements that they've had there, and he supports him in those efforts. But they're also, we have been reviewing these actions and making sure that we're being very responsible with taxpayer dollars. This is something that the president has asked all of his team to go back and look at.
Sarah, does the president want to get rid of his attorney general?
Not that I know of.
And how about Jared Kushner?
No.
Is Jared Kushner becoming a distraction given all the controversies that he's been at the center of in recent days?
Look, Jared's still a valued member of the administration, and he's going to continue to focus on the work that he's been doing, and we're going to continue pushing forward on that front as well.
And are there any concerns about conflict of interest given those meetings that he had with executives from companies that gave his family business millions of dollars in
I would
in
refer
loans.
you to the statement that was put out by his attorney,
But
John.
conflict of interest appearance even, concerns about that here at this White House?
Again, I would have to refer you to the statement put out by his attorney, John.
Republican Senator Ben Sass put out a statement in regards to these new tariffs. He said that the president is proposing a massive tax increase on American families. Protectionism is weak, not strong. And he concluded by writing, "You'd expect a policy this bad from a leftist administration, not a supposedly Republican one." Do you have a comment on that?
I don't know that the president will or should ever apologize for protecting American workers, and certainly not to Senator Sass.
Sarah, this week, the president expressed frustration with his attorney general and the Department of Justice as it relates to the process to look into FISA abuses. What would the president like to see done differently?
Look, the president's made clear that he has a lot of concerns, like you said, with the current FISA process. Nothing makes the problems of FISA cleaner than what was outlined in both the Republican and Democrat memos. The FBI used political campaign material to get a warrant to spy on American citizens. They failed to disclose to the judge that the dossier was funded by the Clinton campaign and the DNC, even as it was being used to spy on people associated with the Trump campaign. Obviously, that alone shows us that the process needs to be looked at closely and reformed to make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the privacy of American citizens.
And as it relates to that tweet, could you elaborate on the relationship between the president and the attorney general? Does President Trump believe his attorney general is disgraceful?
Look, the president's made his frustrations very clear. I don't have anything else to add. Dave?
What was the president's reaction to what the mayor of Oakland, California did last weekend when she tipped off residents that there was a imminent immigration raid coming? Does he feel that the mayor broke the law and now the Justice Department's looking into that?
I think it's outrageous that a mayor would circumvent federal authorities and certainly put them in danger by making a move such as that, and that's currently under review by the Department of Justice, and I don't have anything else to add. Olivia?
Did you take note of President Putin's speech, and do you have a reaction to his rhetoric and threats about these invincible weapons?
Yes, President Putin has confirmed what the United States government has known all along, which Russia has denied. Russia has been developing destabilizing weapons systems for over a decade in direct violations of its treaty obligations. President Trump understands the threats facing America and our allies in this century and is determined to protect our homeland and preserve peace through strength. U.S. defense capabilities are and will remain second to none. And now, because of the new defense budget of $700 billion, our military will be far stronger than ever. As the president's nuclear posture review made clear, America is moving forward to modernize our nuclear arsenal and ensure our capabilities are unmatched. Francesca.
Thanks, Sarah. Attorney General Jeff Sessions was due to be at the White House today for the opioid summit. Did the president have an opportunity to speak to him while he was here?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, and then moving on to gun violence prevention, the president said yesterday that he would sign a bill, and then he said, and I will call whoever you want me to if I like what you're doing. If senators, if the House, if Congress passes a bill that does deal with school safety, gun violence, is the president committed to signing whatever they pass?
The president's not going to unilaterally say without seeing that piece of legislation, but he does want Congress to come together and put forward a piece of legislation that addresses the safety in schools and gun violence specifically. And he laid out a number of things he'd like to see in that. And so we're hoping that Congress will continue working with us and put a strong piece of legislation forward. I'm going to take one last question. The president, hey guys, hold on just a second. The president's headed over to speak at the opioid summit here momentarily. I'll take one last question. Sarah?
The gun debate, Sarah. So according to the White House readout, there was a phone call this morning between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and President Trump. Moon Jae-in briefed him on the inter-Korean talks. The South Korean government is also saying that they plan to send a special envoy to North Korea soon. How does the president feel about the dialogue between North and South Korea? Does he welcome it, or is he concerned? And does he feel that President Moon is being too soft on North Korea?
The president wants to continue working with South Korea. It's a strong ally. We have no daylight between the two of us. We're going to continue those conversations. Again, the ultimate goal is to denuclearize the peninsula. That's what we're focused on, and we're, excited about any steps moving forward in that process. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to move out. The president will be speaking here in a couple minutes.